Ocoa is high-end curly hair care products for the self-loving Latina, inspired by the beauty of the Dominican Republic. And Ocoa actually means a place between mountains in the Taino language. So the inspiration came from Ocoa being our mom's hometown in the Dominican Republic.
Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Nicol Varona, one half of the founders of Ocoa. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hi, Taisha. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Cool. Well, I know we had an initial conversation around your products before we decided to set up time. For everyone listening, can you share what Ocoa is and what products you make for people?
Yeah, so Ocoa is high-end curly hair care products for the self-loving Latina, inspired by the beauty of the Dominican Republic. And Ocoa actually means a place between mountains in the Taino language. So the inspiration came from Ocoa being our mom's hometown in the Dominican Republic.
Wow, your mum's hometown. And so for everyone listening as well, can you talk a little bit more about the fact you started the business with your sister so everyone has the backstory?
Yes, so it's a long story, but I'll try to give you a little bit of a summary. So, actually, the idea started back a few years ago, around 2018, when my sister and I had gone through this whole journey of embracing our curls together. And we were looking for better products. And so, my sister Corey, who's the other half of Ocoa, got really curious and because we were using all these products that were not giving us great results, we were like, oh my God, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way to make curly hair care products. So she enrolled into a natural hair formulator course online and she started to make products at home and I was testing them with her. And so the class that she took actually focused on a skincare approach for hair care. So a lot of the ingredients that we actually use in our products are based with a skincare approach to hair care. So they're very different ingredients. Some are mango butter instead of shea butter that like a lot of other brands use. Marula oil, just lighter oils that are great for skin as well, but actually are really great for hair care. So she started making them. I started to test them. We gave it to family and friends, and we were like, "Oh my goodness, we're getting great results." So let's start Googling how we can actually make these products. And we like decided to search, found a manufacturer, and then from there, the rest is history. I mean, there was a lot of challenges in between. We actually started with a manufacturer, had an incident. We had to start over in 2019. Then obviously the pandemic happened in 2020. And we finally launched in 2021 with two products, our styling products. But we started to see what people were saying and loving the products, but we kind of forgot a little bit about the brand. So we decided to rebrand. And here we are now, brand new with Ocoa as of 2023. So yeah.
And you said you rebranded. What was the original name? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, it was nothing like amazing, like our new name. So it was our two names together. So
Oh,
Corey's
okay.
middle name and my name. So it was Dahlia Nicole Organics.
Okay, cool. Well, I love Ocoa. I love the fact it has a personal touch to you guys as two sisters and founders. Um, we're talking about curly hair. This podcast is about textured hair. I've got probably 1,000 textures going on in my hair right now. Often when we talk about textured hair, there is also some commentary around like the different curl patterns and actually what are the challenges and are they the same? I would love to learn a bit more around Dominican Republic, the culture around hair, specifically for those who are women, where I know like there's pressures around how you have your curls. Can you tell us a bit more about your experience and kind of the unmet need?
Yeah, so we grew up in the Dominican Republic. So growing up, we always heard people saying or like commenting about our hair saying pelo malo, which translates to bad hair. So when we had our hair curly, people would just point out like, "Oh my God, it's so big, it's so frizzy," all these comments that as a child growing up, you're like, there's something, that I need to fix. And for us, like we really didn't embrace our curly hair. living in a Caribbean country where the majority of people have curly hair and nobody knows that because everybody is going to straighten their hair, which is nothing wrong with it, but nobody's really
Mm-hmm.
embracing their natural patterns. So for us, like going to the hair salon with our mom was the norm. Like that's when we were like, oh my God, I feel beautiful, like my hair's straight. And that's all we knew. And then moving to the US, we discovered the flat iron, which was even, more damage to our curls because we were frying our hair doing it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, it was like this society pressure thinking that our hair was never like good enough in its natural state, which is really sad. And there's been a lot of changes in the Dominican Republic. With more acceptance. But again, coming from a place where you would think this, it's like amazing weather, beautiful, beaches everywhere. You want to embrace your curly hair. People are doing the opposite, which is trying to fit into the society pressure of like your hair has to be, straight to be beautiful or, elegant or whatever. So for us, it was kind of like, no, we want to create products that help you embrace your natural beauty because for us like one of our pillars is embracing who you're born to be, and for us it was learning to love ourselves through our hair that really helped us feel confident in our own like beauty and all the other things that we've definitely like learned about ourselves. So for me it was like, and my sister, it was this like thought that we could share that with a growing community of hermanas because for us it's like a family, a community of sisters, because obviously Corey and I are sisters, but the growing
Mm-hmm.
community that joins our brand is a bigger sisterhood. When we're together, we're sharing tips, we're sharing, you know, challenges. So for us, it was like there was this need to kind of serve this community that has never really known how to embrace their hair and also use the right products for their hair.
It's wild to think that in the DR, with the heat and the climate,
Mm-hmm.
that straightening hair has honestly even been a thing.
Yeah.
I'm curious, is relaxing hair, just on the topic of like perceptions of hair, is relaxing hair common in the Latina community? Because I guess
Yes.
I just see that it's straightened and I just always assume it's ironed. And I'm just curious, a hairstylist also relaxing the loose curls?
Yes, I mean, people definitely relax their hair in DR, and I do remember seeing like we never had our hair relaxed, but there's people that we knew that had their hair relaxed so young, like friends
Oh.
that we knew, like, oh yeah, I get my hair relaxed. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's like a really bad like treatment for younger, kids. So
Mm-hmm.
it's also like stuff that affect your health that you don't really know about. And for us, that's why we really focused on natural ingredients for our products because we wanted it to be safe for kids. Like our own kids use it. Like it's family friendly. And so yeah, we definitely knew of friends and like other family members who used to get their hair relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned natural hair products. Let's talk products. I'm curious to know, when you're formulating and you've been making your products, are there any pros to using clean ingredients, or do things become more complicated when you're trying to use natural ingredients? When I think about storage and like how long consumers can have it on the shelf at home.
Yes. Yeah. So for us, the main challenge was how do we make a shelf, stable product, but while not using all these toxic ingredients? And it just takes longer. Like, honestly, we've been, trying to perfect the formula since
Mm-hmm.
2018, 19. So it took us a while for us to get here. Like, even our shampoo and conditioner, which we launched now, we had been formulating since like 2 to 3 years ago. So for
Wow.
us to get like the right texture, the right results, the right just feeling overall, it took us longer because we were focusing on using all those natural preservatives which are harder to formulate with. So it
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot more patience to, co-develop natural products because you are, testing out different ways to avoid using all these chemically focused ingredients.
That would make sense. 2 to 3 years is a very long time in terms of
Yes.
like R&D, essentially, to come up with the products, which
Yeah.
kind of makes me think now about how many brands are kind of adding the label of clean or minimal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, is there like a definition for you as a business owner to be able to actually claim that on your website and say you're clean and minimal as more and more people look to appeal to an audience that cares about sustainability?
Yeah, so right now there's really no like standard definition, but we actually did work with a platform called Novi, and they actually certified our formulas through this accelerator that we did. We kind of had the opportunity to work with them. And what they do is they examine your formula. So they work directly with our manufacturer to kind of vet all the ingredients that we're using and see if our formulas met clean at Sephora, clean at Ulta, clean at Target, all their different standards based on like whatever those retailers were. And like basically each retailer can have their own definition. But Novi kind of helped us to standardize like the fact that our formulas were, considered clean at these retailers. Again, there's not really a general like stamp of approval by the FDA or anything like that
Yeah.
because beauty has not really been regulated for a long time. And now there's actually changes happening
Hmm.
um, in the beauty industry, but we work with a manufacturer that's FDA regulated. So for us,
Okay.
it's always been part of the way that we, make products. And
Hmm.
we actually focused on following a lot of the European standards, which are a lot more strict than what the US has. So from the beginning, we kind of knew that we wanted to create products that were going above and beyond like the typical things that people leave out, which is sulfates, parabens, and silicones. So
Hmm.
we went a step forward.
Okay. And for
Yeah.
your, you said you test these, you're testing these with your community, your friends, family, and customers.
Mm-hmm.
There is so many, like we both know there are so many reasons why, unfortunately, folks with our type of hair don't like their hair, right? And we know why
Mm-hmm.
they feel that way. When you've been testing like different formulations, what are like the most important things that you're consistently hearing from customers and potential customers of like it needs to your product needs to do this for it to be like considered?
Yeah, so I think the main thing is like people really want it to have the benefits that you claim that you have on your label. Like, oh, really? It's going to minimize the frizz, but please actually do that. Or it's really going to hydrate my curls. Okay, but really do that. And it's not going to leave my hair like feeling like sticky or greasy or anything like that. I really wanted to do that. So I think we really focused on making sure that the benefits that we really wanted to highlight, like, helping with frizz control, adding shine, and having your curls really defined, like those type of things really were showing up in the results. And people really did resonate with that because they're like, we just try so many things that claim that they can help with all these issues, but they never really do. So for us, it was really important to be able to make products that really work for curly
Hmm.
hair and that also felt kind of, high end. Because even when you try our products in our hand, the fact that we have a skincare approach to hair care, like even using the curl cream, I run out of like, lotion or something. I'm in the car. I literally put it in my hands and it's like hydrating
Oh
for my hair.
wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it's like even those little things that you don't think about, like with like details, like for us, it was really personal and like we are our brand's first customers. So we really wanted it to work well. And like when
Hmm.
people tested it and tried it themselves and they gave us the same feedback, we're like, okay, we're doing something right.
Hmm.
So we wanted it to feel as good in your hands as it feels in your hair.
Okay.
And so that was really like another thing for us. We were just tired of having like average products. We were just like, we're really going to make them high end and make them feel good for everybody.
Okay, I love that. And for folks listening or watching, I did try a Ocoa for my hair to condition it, and I actually will vouch for that feeling. The way what did you say? You just described it as the way it feels. We want it to feel in your hands as it did in your hair. Was that the phrase?
As good as in your hands as in your hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because and again, for anyone listening, you can go on TikTok and Instagram and find this video. My instant reaction was a combination of looking at my curls really curl post shower, but
Mm-hmm.
also the feeling in my hair. The best way I could describe how your conditioner made me feel was kind of how I want my face to be gooey in terms of skin tone and tech. I want to glow. it
Yes.
felt like the hair version of glowing in my hair.
Oh, I love
That's
that. I
that's how
love
that's
the
how I would
analogy.
describe it. It was like dewy in feeling and texture, which was really nice.
Yes, glowing. I love that.
So we talked about customers a little bit. I'd love to talk and hear more about just your experience going into entrepreneurship. What you and Coral have done is like amazing. To do it as sisters is no easy feat, I'm sure, to mix business and pleasure and family. Um, what are some of the things you've learned along the way as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Oh, wow. So much. Like, one thing that we kind of are blessed to have is like a great relationship as sisters. And I think for anybody who is thinking of, starting a business or anything like that, you really have to trust that other person. And that's why we work well together, because we trust each other so much. And surprisingly, even though we never thought we would start a beauty brand, we always had an idea of like starting a business together. So from the beginning, like that was always like something in our hearts, in our minds, that we wanted to do. And then it ended up being so personal, and like we would never thought that it was going to be curly hair care, but it kind of, just blossomed from the idea. And I mean, entrepreneurship is like a roller coaster every day. That's like the best way that I can explain it. And we've just learned so much along the way, and I think it's being so curious and just being open to learning is the main thing that I would say it takes to be an entrepreneur, because every day you're going to have a challenge, every day you're going to have a small win, every day you may even have like a great win in between, but you're always going up and down. And if you're willing to persevere, I think that's just the biggest,
Okay.
success, because otherwise, like, it has to have, you have to have a lot of patience, and you have to give it time for anything to kind of, you know get to like a great, place. But I
Mhm.
think for us, having like the end in mind of like knowing where we want to be, knowing where we want to take the brand, and the fact that for us it's helping, others to embrace who they're born to be, that's just the way that we know that we're being impactful and successful, because other people also get to enjoy, great hair care, and they share that with us. Like, that's what keeps us going. Like the emails and the text messages and DMs when people are like, "Wow, I love your products." Like you
Mhm.
sharing the fact that your hair felt like it was glowing. I
Mhm.
love to hear that, and it makes me happy. So for us, like knowing that we are impacting other people's lives is the biggest, testament to the fact that we're doing this for the right reasons.
Amen to that. And I really, again, for anyone who watches this on YouTube, you can see my hair. My hair is out, kind of half out. It's winter in New York, technically, I
Mhm.
think. This
Yeah.
would never happen. I would never even dare, because I'd be like, my hair's going to dry out. And I've gone 3 days strong with my
I
hair
love
out.
that.
So thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love that.
You mentioned you have ups and downs as an entrepreneur. If there was one piece of advice that you now have that you didn't have when you started, what would it be that you wish you knew? Just one piece of advice you've received that you wish you knew earlier.
One piece of advice. Wow. That's always a hard question, because I feel like it changes a little bit every day. um, I just feel like where we are now, it's like you really have to like, man, just start and keep going. Like for us, it was like if we didn't really take the leap of faith from the beginning, we would have never gotten to where we are now. So like every day you really just have to keep going, because you don't know what the next day is going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
And we could have, given up a long time ago, but we would have never seen the other side, gotten to where we are now with Ocoa, having launched 4 products, shipped across the US, impacted so many people's lives, like just learned so much about ourselves and entrepreneurship overall. I think is like just start whatever it is, like maybe a new hobby, a new idea, a new place that you wanted to visit. You just have to really start to plan like that idea and like have the end in mind that you're really going to get there. So that's the main thing that I would say. I mean, there's a lot of other things that come to mind, but like that's the main thing that kind of has gotten us to where we are.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, let's kind of take a step back and talk about the textured hair market in general. There's a lot going on. There's like, I feel like every week there's like a new company, there's a new brand, there's a new claim, there's a new celebrity brand on top of all the other entrepreneurs also trying to build product
That's
lines
how
and
I feel.
service. And I'm reading about it, and you're the one building in the market, right?
Hmm.
What would you love to see the textured hair market at large focus on in terms of the wider narrative around this hair category per se?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a
And it could be
huge
a few
question.
things. There could be a few things that you think are important.
Yeah. Um, I think for us, it's a lot more like representation in like beauty retailers. I
Okay.
think a lot are still kind of like thinking that just because they have one brand for curly hair care, that's all they need. But there's so many levels of, textures and patterns
Mm-hmm.
and needs that people have that I feel like I wish there was more representation overall for curly hair care. There's just definitely a lot of categories. I think there could be a better way to serve the market because there's
Mm-hmm.
so many people that have curly hair.
Yeah.
Um, so
Like,
there's a huge market, and even like going above, just the US, like for us, like we want to go international and sell in Dominican Republic one day. Like
mhm.
there's a big opportunity for us there because we want to serve the people that we, made it for. So starting even to go international, but I think overall, like just retailers really just giving a little bit more representation and shelf space to these growing brands that are really serving a lot of different textures and communities, I think would be a huge kind of win for everybody.
I couldn't agree more, because something that kind of plays on my mind, and part of the reason I make the point of saying this podcast is about black and textured hair is to,
Hmm.
one, distinguish that there are black hairstyles and cultural things we should acknowledge,
Hmm.
contemporary identity. Textured hair is the category, but like you said, in that category, you have so many different communities of people that do have very nuanced relationships with their hair and with beauty and perceptions in society. And
Yes.
I knew we were going to talk, and it got me thinking that actually, even when I, if you do a Google right now of textured hair, anything to do with textured beauty brands, it actually skews more towards black consumers. Not that would be expected, but
Hmm.
it still doesn't actually encompass a lot of different people who do have textured hair. Like, they're not
Yeah.
seen on the campaigns. They don't fit the profile of what feels right for a brand. And yeah, I hope retailers, and also just like any space where you can have beauty shows up, recognizes that like you can have two brands expressing the similar things but for two different communities who just need a different message to connect with the product or the
Yes.
opportunity. And so I hope,
100%.
and I've seen, I don't know if you've seen, I've seen a discourse recently around like natural hair. And actually I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was like around folks with looser curl textures also saying they're embracing their natural hair. And
Hmm.
is that a thing? Because it's not the same as having maybe 4C type hair. And
Right.
then I think it goes back to your point around representation. If we told those stories more, we would see more similarities even among consumer groups who debate what's right and wrong.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
on the note of consumers, how do you look at marketing? Because even though you're focused on Latina women,
Hmm.
as we've discussed, this your products can work for quite a few different people. How are
Yep.
you prioritizing different marketing channels to reach customers?
Yeah, so for us, obviously, like organic social media has played a huge part because we are, a startup, an indie brand, and we really just have connected with the customers that we have, and then they're sharing with their family and friends. So for us, word of mouth has been, a huge component to our marketing, and people, leaving us reviews and sharing the fact that they love the product. Another way that we kind of are able to tap into other channels is through our free sampling, which we give away our samples for free on our website, and people just have to cover the shipping. And so for us, it's like try it risk free, and if you love it, which a majority of people do, then they'll come back, right? So for
Mhm.
us, it's like we kind of put so much thought and love and care into the formulas that we're willing to share that with everybody so that they can try it, and then they'll love it so much and come back to kind of try the full size. So that's been the biggest strategies. We're also kind of tapping into more of the in-person events. Obviously, we were kind of like a COVID brand at first, and then we kind of started over as Ocoa, and now we're like trying out different strategies and channels. We also have partnerships with smaller curly hair salons and boutiques across the US. So that's also a different kind of channel for us to distribute the products. So we have about 6 or 7 curly hair salons and boutiques that carry our products currently. But I mean, social media has been a huge element to our growth. And now it's kind of trying to diversify and tap other channels.
It's refreshing for you to transparently share, like, actually you're doing quite a few small things. I think often people think about, how am I going to market the brand or whatever it is they want to market, and I've got to go mass, right? I've got to hit as many people
Mm-hmm.
as possible. And so, like, I love the approach to, like, salon by salon, event by
Mm-hmm.
event. Like, one sample turns into one purchase, which turns into a recommendation, which turns into 2 people.
Yeah.
So I've taken that from what you said of, like, starting small and adding to that.
Yes. Yes.
Before we wrap up, because I know we're getting to time, I would love to know, what are you excited about for 2024 for Ocoa?
We have a lot of exciting plans. We're actually working on new products that we hope to have ready for 2024. So it's really something different for us. So we're really, really excited about that. And excited about a few more partnerships too, and like
Okay.
collaborations with other brands that we have met through other founders and other programs. So we're just really excited to try new things in 2024. Yeah.
Okay. And where can people learn more about Ocoa? Try the products, order a sample, order some products from you.
Yeah. So we are at ocoabeauty.com, and Ocoa is OCOA beauty.com, and on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok. And yeah, come follow us and learn more about us.
Okay. Well, before we wrap up, I usually do a 5 question quick fire round where I'll ask 5 quick questions and you have to answer quickly. They're just
Okay.
random on the spot. But
I'll try.
if you need a minute, you can take a minute.
Okay.
Um, First question: you're stuck on a hot desert island, and I can drop one hair product or tool off for you. What would you like?
I would do the Ocoa curl cream.
Okay, you heard it here first. Okay, I'll make sure I drop that off to you.
Thank you.
When you get your hair done, sometimes in a salon or at a friend's house, what people listen to music. People listen to music all the time when they're getting their hair done. What are you listening to on repeat right now? And you can get your phone out if you want to look at whatever you're streaming.
Oh my gosh, I'm like so random with music, I feel like. Like I don't really follow trends. I feel like I don't even know what I'm listening to. Like right now I'm listening to like holiday music, but I don't really. Oh my gosh, what's a song that I really like right now? I don't even know. I'm like so bad with. Oh, okay. I would say, okay, I have one. It's a song by Shakira.
Okay.
It's called El Jefe.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is at the end of the season, I'll make a playlist. We did it for series 1 of, like, what guests say when they come on the show.
Oh, I
Um,
love it.
Next question, third question. What is one conversation about textured hair that you would like us all to stop having?
To stop having. Oh my gosh. That's another really hard question. Oh, I would love for it to be like, how long does it take you to get your hair done? Because it feels like everybody thinks it has to be like super complicated. Like, no, everybody has their own, uh, like kind of thoughts of time and whatever. And like everybody has different, challenges or what like kids or things to kind of worry about. So I think whatever time it takes them is whatever time is needed for them. And if
Okay.
you're like 5 minutes, that's great. If it's 20 minutes, amazing. If it's an hour, whatever it is, everybody just needs to be, happy with that.
I kind of agree with you. I'm like, at this point, if that's how long it takes, then like you don't have to tell us. You can just spend the Sunday afternoon and do that. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
On the flip side, what is the conversation you want us all to start having or continue having
Ooh.
about textured hair?
I think the conversation, like, more about hair discrimination and kind of like the way that the Crown Act has been a movement. I think it literally has to be like all over the US. Like, there shouldn't be a reason why each state has like a different kind of,
Yeah.
law. I think it should be overall, like, it should just be everywhere in the US, like in the world, basically. In the whole world,
Yeah.
to be honest. So
Okay.
I think that's something that should just be no questions asked.
Okay. Cool. That makes complete sense. Final question. What do you love about your hair?
I feel like I love the fact that it makes me feel unique and different, and that even though each wash day or each day it looks different, I still love the way that it is. And I'm happy that I get to live in a place now where I'm happy with it myself, and I don't really care what other people think. And I'm just so happy that other people, other future generations will also hopefully start to feel like that, and hopefully won't have to deal with a lot of stereotypes and just society pressure that they have to feel a certain way about their hair, because
Mhm.
our hair is unique and it's beautiful, and there should just not be any thought that it has to be changed to anything else.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.